welcome to the UGO podcast. Woo! Travis, you're back.
I am back. I'm here.
Yay! We managed to find you. I thought Justin had murdered you.
I was hiding.
To replace you.
In fact, you might not be able to put this up.
No. You were in hiding. You're in the witness protection program again.
I can't tell you that.
I told you to stop witnessing murders.
It's kind of hard when...
Or at least stop committing them.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, one or the other, my friend. But yes, this is...
Wait, are you telling me to commit murders but, like, close my eyes?
Mm-hmm. I think I'm telling you either to commit the murders or witness the murders, not both.
So I did not witness the murder I'm committing.
Like, look, if someone's dying, you might as well be the one to do it, okay?
As long as I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I just don't want you to watch. You're sensitive. I know that about you.
That's fair.
You can handle killing someone. I just don't think you can handle watching it.
That's a little fucked up, honestly.
I know you're sensitive like that. But who is contemplating murder? Well, it's me, Nick.
No one's contemplating murder. We're gonna get that out right now.
What's this legal standpoint? Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm being instructed to read this. Alright. Who is in no way, in no way, shape, or form, plotting to conspire and, either aiding and abetting or committing a murder? Why, it is me, Nick, the Merc with a mic, who would never do that, and along with my accomplice, except not accomplice, because that is not something you call your co-host when they have not ever, or to your knowledge, committed a crime.
Oh, thanks.
This is a really legal, opening for us, but, yeah, it's Travis.
It is Travis. I kinda wish Kyle was here right now.
Yeah, we need Kyle to go in on this for us. But yeah, we had, Justin fill in for you last week for our, Anime Austin episode, which was great.
Me.
Yeah. Well, we had, it had to pinch hit at the last minute, but, I just needed to get the Anime Austin episode up. We got a lot more Austin content coming your way, in the next couple weeks, so be prepared for that. If you're listening to this right now, we are gonna be at Let's Play. As soon as this goes up, we're gonna be at Let's Play Con in Appleton. If you're in the area, come check us out. And, win some prizes and stuff. We'll be doing the trivia contest like we usually do. Celebrity Impressions panel, I think, is up. I think Anime Pitch is gonna be there, along with Super Fight Club. It's gonna be a fun time. One more addendum on the announcements is that, we met a artist there, Tom Tenney. You remember him and his model, Maria,
right?
I believe. They contacted me about the interview, and they said it was great. If they wanted me to help them out with a little project, though, is that after they returned from Anime Austin, Tom Tenney found his apartment trashed and gone over. Apparently, his girlfriend and associate of many years has absconded with a bunch of his stuff, like a lot of his art, and tore up his apartment, and actually kidnapped one of his dogs.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, theft is one thing. Okay, now it's personal.
That is dog nap. That is some Cruella de Vil bullshit right there. I mean, yeah, and they even, if you go, yeah, I can't really say, like, man, I found that guy. That guy was really nice to talk to, and I don't know, that sucks, man. So yeah, they wanted to just let people know that they are having a GoFundMe campaign to help out, because apparently his models are actually dependent on his on income from him to continue schooling and stuff, as well as do model work for him. So they are all in a lot of him and his two models are in a lot of hot water right now. So they're hosting a GoFundMe campaign. If you'd like to go to that, you can go to Thomas Tenney, GoFundMe.com. I don't think it has like an actual title. I'm trying to look up right now, but all it is just I can't get past this little thing of like the dog looking at me. They have a picture of the dog on here. It's effective. Don't get me wrong.
It's guilt tripping you already.
Yeah, but I need to get to the information.
It's too effective.
But yeah, nothing but sympathy over here. That sucks balls, my friend. So yeah, if you have a spare $5 or something, you can definitely go over there, maybe show them some love on that, or at least share it maybe on your social medias and stuff, the campaign. And, Yeah, just give those guys a shout out because they could definitely use it.
I mean, let's face it. GoFundMe is usually better than most of the American healthcare systems for providing people actual care, so
yeah, well,
hopefully you get something.
Imagine the GoFundMe campaign, only everyone put money into it, and then everyone got covered.
Nick, Mitch McConnell somewhere is crying right now. Don't make the Turtle Man cry.
Don't make this... He dreams of a single-payer healthcare system at night, and he wakes up in a cold sweat. Oh, Medicare for all. Anyway... Oh, I didn't know we were bringing back the liberal tears thing.
It pops up on it once.
It's just, you know what? We don't plan it or anything, but it does pop up every once in a while. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you, like, how your Anime Austin trip was, or because we didn't get to ask you about it.
No, because I was called in the middle of our vacation by work saying, hey, guess what? You're going on another trip next week for work. I'm like, okay, great. But no, the trip down there was awesome. It was so much fun. We met so many good people. Drank with a few fun people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the convention went, I don't know about you, man, but panel-wise, I thought, like, man, we fucking killed it. Like, I thought we crushed it.
Oh, yeah, we had a really good turnout. Obviously, since it was a smaller convention, more people would go to the panels, but...
Yeah, and then... And not to toot my own horn or anything, but that celebrity impressions panel, like, I was nervous because I accidentally, well, not accidentally, but like, without forethought had taken 3 shots of tequila before the celebrity impressions panel.
That was somebody else's fault.
Yeah, that was, who suggests fucking tequila shots?
Wasn't that Grant?
Yeah, that was Grant. Yeah. Grant, what the fuck, man? It was like 11 in the morning, and I told you we were going for brunch. It's not like he was confused that we're going later. Okay, but anyway, yeah, I thought, like, man, that might be the best I've ever run that panel.
Well, it was our best turnout, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. In fact, our panels actually turned out, like, opposite how they normally would. The Celebrity Passions one had the most turnout, and we actually, like, dragged people in for the trivia contest. It was weird.
Yeah, that's because it seemed like we were scheduled weird again. Yeah. I think that's why I like shotgunning our panels, so that no matter, like, so that we're not, if we get stuck with one panel, it's kind of like, it depends on where we are. If I shotgun the panels, there'll always be at least one panel that'll stick, yeah. But anyway, yeah, we want to get to the rest of the announcements before we get into our regular episode. And this episode will be our continuing Anime Austin adventures. We'll be talking with Chris Cox of oneofus.net. I had a lot of fun talking with him. While I was in town, we did the Deep Blue Sea commentary and 47 meters down review. So I don't know, maybe I'll be considered the shark expert from now on.
Which is hilarious because you're terrified of sharks.
I know, but I love shark movies. So it's a weird dichotomy. But yeah, as always, want to mention Tanner Heckle Designs designed the logo for us, the UGO of our logo. Isabella the Derby Dragon, on the other hand, was designed for us by Kelly Main. Did some great commission work for us. If you need some graphics design work done, give Tanner a call, or if you need some artwork done, give Kelly Main a look up online, because it's a great logo for us, and we are very happy with it. As well, if you want to catch up with us on Twitter, you can do so at UGO Podcast, on Facebook at UGO Podcast, and even our YouTube channel where we got the Let's Plays and stuff coming up. Kyle's doing some pretty good work on those inside Let's Plays. I'm having fun with them. It's probably because it was so long ago I don't even remember them. Right. So I was like, oh man, I don't remember doing this, so this is fun. Also, you can always email us at unapologeticgeek@gmail.com. But if you really want to help out the podcast in a way that won't cost you a damn thing, but you can always go to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Also subscribe to us while you're there.
Yes,
I mean, that wouldn't hurt either. But while you're subscribed to us, you can give us a 5-star review, and we will read whatever goes in that review box on the air, word for word. That is my guarantee. And yeah. With that out of the way, I think I got all the announcements, right? I cover everything?
Sounds good.
Am I good? Alright, I'm good. Yeah. Anyway, we're gearing up for Let's Play Con. Hopefully that'll be super fun. Yeah, I'm kind of excited because this is gonna be our first, well, not our first time being special guests because we were there at PlatCon, but,
and Nerd and Tie.
And Nerd and Tie, yeah. So I like the smaller ones, and even Anime Austin was like it's only its second year.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like these smaller ones because I feel like we're maybe not a big fish, but more of a medium-sized fish in a smaller pond to kind of like accentuate how big. But yeah, with that, should we just get into the news? Because before we get into to Chris's interview, we got to catch up to the news and the trailer talk as well.
What's been going on?
Well, what has been going on indeed, Travis? Well, first up, we gotta give our Game of Thrones update because you're done.
I'm done.
Yep. So
I'm all caught up. It's taken a while.
It's taken a while, but you are finally ready to join the rest of us in our Game of Thrones obsession. How'd you like the last season that you ended up watching?
That was pretty good.
Yeah?
I'll go admit that. I mean, if nothing else, just for the last couple episodes were so good.
Woo!
But
yeah.
the rest of the season was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. And we'll leave it spoiler free since it's the latest season, but and for those of you who are catching up, but man, that last season, woo! It it really sets the bar, sets the tone.
Well, there's 2 shorter seasons left, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're going to be like 7 and 6 episodes apiece, respectively. I think that this next one's going to be 7, or maybe the next one's 7, and then the last one's 8. I forget, but they're going to be a lot more focused, like on the actual conflicts and war,
right? And the characters because we're running out.
Yeah, we parsed down to the more important people, like that are.
Remember when we couldn't remember everyone's name?
Yeah, well. Now that we've just had enough time to hear everybody's names multiple times, and we've pruned the more forgettable people, it's like, okay, now it's down to like 15 characters that I can pretty much remember.
Right.
I mean, I'm still calling like the Sand Snakes of Dorne like the Sand Snakes, and then like Oberyn's wife rather than her name. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't remember who you are, because I remember Oberyn really good, but I don't remember you.
Well, it depends, too, how many times you hear their names.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I especially like that last episode where it's like, oh, you thought the big things only happened in the penultimate episodes. And
that was actually kind of true for the previous season as well.
Previous seasons were always like, okay, the big battle episode's the second from last one, and then everything else is like piece moving. And then this last episode is like, yeah, we're gonna have some big shit happen here too. And Cersei, woo!
I love to hate Cersei.
I'm not gonna lie, Cersei became so much hotter to me after that scene, and I'm gonna be like, I know it's like it's gonna be
Nick,
further
she doesn't
evidence.
even have an accent.
And no, well, they all have that weird sort of English accent. But no, she's got that like battle dress that she puts on, and then after that fucking gangster move she pulls, and she just sips on her wine, like just like, and I'm like, whoa, what a fucking G, god damn.
Then after that, her little shame episode.
Oh yeah, her ultimate revenge was just like
that was personal.
Woo, that that did not work out for that particular character. But now with vagaries out of the way, should we get to the actual news stories?
Sure.
All right. Well, first up, Spider-Man: Homecoming. People have seen it.
Yeah.
Early reviews.
Okay.
So. Saying it's good.
Okay.
Saying it's the funniest Spider-Man movie yet.
Low bar. Like that's the main problem is that the rest of the Spider movies aren't terrible.
I don't know. I thought the Green Goblin was hilarious in the last Amazing Spider-Man movie.
But not because it's supposed to be. None of the Spider-Man movies are particularly terrible. I mean, you could argue that the last one...
Yeah, I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is terrible. Like,
it just has so many problems, but it has some good things in it. That's why I don't want to call it terrible.
Well, it has, like, the best Spider-Man suit, and it, like, has, like, a couple actually good ideas in it, but it's, like, bogged down by, like...
So many ideas.
So much other crap.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on here?
But overall, none of them... I wouldn't actually label any of them spectacular.
Yeah, this one sounds like it's getting pretty good early buzz. I'm pretty excited. Apparently it captures the youth of this Spider-Man is what it's been saying.
Yeah, Spider-Man's actually getting younger. So is Aunt May, but...
So, yeah, they're saying that even the Vulture is pretty good, played by Michael Keaton. I don't know, it looks like we got another winner on our hands.
Now, my question is, how many iterations of Spider-Man are we going to have to go through before, like, a Mary Jane or Gwen actress actually gets to play Aunt May in the next one?
I don't know, she keeps getting younger in all the fucking ones.
But we have, like, a toddler Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're talking about that Aunt May solo film still. Like, that they're kicking that around.
Sony, why?
Well, that brings me to the next news story, because we can't have it all be sunshine and rainbows. Because, okay, so here it is. Amy Pascal, one of the front runners over there at Sony. She's one of the producers for the Spider-Man, basically, universe that don't have Spider-Man in it.
Okay.
Like the Venomverse.
The Spiderless universe.
The Spiderless universe. She's saying that Spider-Man and Venom may cross over. God damn it.
Spider-Man can't cross over with one of his villains.
God,
that's just a fucking Spider-Man movie then.
Man, what a stupid fucking
I'm sorry,
title.
but actually next season, Nick, Jon Snow is gonna cross over with Daenerys.
Okay, so here's her exact quote. Venom is a character that is closely associated with Spidey, and there may be some day where you see them together. You never know.
We did.
You never know?
We do know.
What?
That's dumb.
Okay.
Someone get this woman a dictionary and show her what crossover means.
Okay, so I don't. Okay.
There's too much to just decompress on this one. I don't know where to start.
Oh my god, I hate this so much. I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's even better because Venom is like one of your favorite villains.
I know. And I hate it. I hate it. And the reason that I hate it so much is that there is no what parallel reality are we living in where there's like a Venomverse with Silver Sable and Black Cat and stuff, and we get teases like, hey, Spider-Man may be in a future movie of ours.
You know what?
What?
Nick, you say that, but at the same time, you can't actually tell me comics haven't done that.
Well, okay, look. Venom has had his own comic books and stuff. Yeah. But they were after an established, him being the villain for a long time, and then they decided to make him an anti-hero, and they had Spider-Man and other characters cross over. But that is an actual universe that's built up, and they were spawned off of Spider-Man. This is a universe that they're trying to set up without the linchpin that they're trying to do. It's like if the Game of Thrones spin-offs were to come out, the Game of Thrones spin-offs that they're talking about. It's like if they've tried to make those work without making Game of Thrones first. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. I'm just so frustrated that I feel like Sony is going to get cocky after this Spider-Man film. Is like, okay, now that you've got Spider-Man ready for us, we'll take him back after this. And then they'll have to fuck up again. And then we'll have to just go like, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll team up with Marvel again. And I'm just like, fuck.
Well, I mean, I feel like Disney's one of those companies that, fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Type of things.
So, Sony is like, you gotta prove to me, like, you can't fool me when everyone just knows that you're goddamn trick or whatever. I do not understand what the fact that someone is saying the fact that like Spider-Man might show up in our universe at one point, and they don't go like, that doesn't sound great. Maybe what we're doing is an entire giant mistake.
It's Sony. That's basically their slogan.
Look, and I'll be the first to admit that you can't prejudge a movie before it's out.
Yes, you can.
That being said, this movie universe is going to be fucking stupid.
I mean, we were prejudging The Mummy, and let's face it, we were right on that one.
Look, and I'll be the first to admit it. If they make a universe and the Venom movie is fucking awesome, and the Silver Sable movie is like great, and the Black Cat movie is like, oh my god, who knew these characters had such rich backstories that they could work all on their own? You don't even need Spider-Man. In fact, it works better that Spider-Man isn't in the way to get in the way of their rich character development. Sure, I'll eat my own hat on that one, but I kind of doubt it. I mean, I feel pretty safe in my assertion that these movies will suck balls.
Nick, tell me one defining characteristic of Eddie Brock.
That he's an asshole.
Okay. Then can you not describe Peter Parker as an asshole? I mean...
Well, if you want to go into the technically, what I feel Peter Parker is like, but we're not going to go into that. Okay. Because I feel like Peter Parker has his own inner asshole of being like kind of this geek that was always picked on, because the first time he at least from the comic that I remember reading, not the movies, but in the comic, where it was like, he didn't have to like have something bad happen to him before he'd suck, like he just let the bank robber go. He just got a big head, was just like, he's a wrestler now. And I'm like, ugh, not my problem. That's a cop's problem or whatever. And just lets that fucker go. He gets a big head, like, not my problem. And I'm like, yes, because he would be that douchebag because he got pushed around his whole life. He would have become what he hated, except for the one time that he was selfish. It totally backfired on him, thereby making him the guilty person that he is today, and why everything is right. Okay, but that is like the very, very linchpin of what I believe like 80s to 90s Spider-Man is. And the movies have always tried to capture 60s Spider-Man, which I always thought was weird, but made sense for Sam Raimi's kind of style of filming, though. Anyway, yeah, so not a fan.
No, not at all. In case you couldn't have told by that, segment.
I don't like it, but Sony does have some good news.
Really?
Yeah, they will be keeping all the profits from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh.
They will be, yeah. So, apparently, that's the deal they cut with Marvel, is that they will keep all of the box office returns on it.
What's Marvel getting out of this?
Oh, Marvel's getting the merchandising.
Ew.
You forget, because Sony, while they own the movie rights to Spider-Man, they own almost nothing else. Any toys that have sold from the previous Amazing Spider-Man movies goes right to fucking Disney.
Right.
So that's the reason that Sony has always had a troubled time with these films, because they only make money off of the actual box office. Any merchandising goes right to Disney and Marvel's pocket. So, with this new Spider-Man Homecoming comes out, yeah, all those fucking play sets and Iron Man and like Spider-Man like combo action figures, web shooter Homecoming things with the backpack on, mid-change Spider-Man, Vulture action figures, all that profits, that's going right to Disney. And for me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd make that deal.
Yeah.
I'd make that deal in a fucking heartbeat. They're like, Disney is probably looking at that like, oh yeah, we'll totally make this movie for I'm not sure how much this movie's gonna cost. I mean, I'm guessing it'll be one of their lower tiers, because they'll probably want to spend Avenger money on it. But it'll have a decent sized budget, I'm sure. But Homecoming is tracked to cash in $100 million in its opening weekend alone. So I guess it'll already be making a profit at that point. Or no, it won't. It'll be on its way, because it'll be well, I guess it'll cost $175 million to make. That sounds expensive.
Yeah.
But then again, it does have a lot of fucking special effects in it.
True. And I'm guessing that $100 million, that's just domestic, or?
Yeah, that's gonna be domestically. So, I'm sure that no one's gonna be crying coming away from that deal. The only thing that I'm worried about is Sony getting a big head from it. And
we might be crying and defending.
Yeah, so, also we have, Robert Downey Jr. says he will keep returning for well-thought-out MCU films.
Okay.
So that his contract is pretty much done, I think. Like, I don't know, like he's contracted out to be in the Infinity Wars movie. But, he says like, hey, as long as they keep coming to me, with good ideas and scripts, then I'll be on board.
I think they're gonna kill him off.
Yeah. Well, the only thing with that is that it makes sense for Spider-Man to be involved in, with Iron Man in their new movie, in the new Homecoming movie, that like kind of pseudo father figure sort of thing. Like, that's smart. That gives Tony a good role. I feel like they keep finding stuff for Tony Stark's character to do. In the Avengers movies, he's become the pseudo villain of it, of being like this like super paranoid dude of like trying to protect the Earth through any means necessary,
including destroying the Earth.
Yeah, as far as another Iron Man movie, I don't think we ever need any one more of those. Like, his arc is kind of complete by the end of Iron Man 3. To the point where it feels kind of null and void by the Avengers ones, where it's like, I destroyed all my suits and I got rid of the shit in my chest and yay, I'm basically like fully healed as a person, except for later when I'm not, because I still gotta be in the rest of the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. On another note, we have, on another unhappy Disney note, a lot of Disney news. Have you heard about the Han Solo film?
Nothing in particular, I guess.
Have you heard about the Chris Lord and Phil Miller that were the directors that they actually got kicked off?
They got kicked off?
They got... Well, that's what the thing is, that apparently there was only a couple weeks left in filming, and they were fired.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of rumors have been going around with creative differences. Me and Justin talked about it a little bit last week when it was fresh. There's a couple more stories coming out now. Apparently they were unhappy with some of the practices that Phil Lord and Chris Miller were doing with Han Solo. One of the criticisms was that it was too funny, like it was too comedic.
Okay.
Well, I think the main discrepancy, here's the one that I believe, is that their film style involved a lot of ad-libbing and going off script, and I feel like probably that had a lot to do with decisions of...
Harrison Ford was never known to do that.
Well, no, it wasn't owned by Disney back then.
True, give you that.
Disney, I think that, and especially this one, I don't know who, I think they were kind of like, hey, we have a lot of films riding off this. You need to stick to this fucking script. Yeah, and Disney is known to be pretty protective of their property. So I think that maybe there was just one time too many of just like, oh, we want to keep this take. It's like, yeah, well, that take's funny, but it doesn't make sense with some other stuff we want to do, or maybe it was just the fact that like, I need fucking the goddamn script. I need the dialogue from the script, not this.
Right.
So, yeah, on one hand, I'm actually disappointed because I feel like those guys would have made a really fun Han Solo film.
But that apparently is the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. But on the other hand, Disney has a right to go like, hey, you need to fucking make the movie that we want, not the movie that you want.
Right.
It was weird.
We kind of got a similar thing for Ant-Man, you know?
Yeah, well, then again, it's like, if you wanted to hire, if you wanted a standard type movie, why did you hire someone different rather than these guys? These guys are known for doing weird kind of properties and stuff and making them really comedic and kind of, you know, funny and well, I don't want to say they're crude humor, but it's like very blunt humor with great pacing and timing. Right. So I thought that would have been a good fit, and I could see why they would have done it. But, you know, sometimes I guess it just doesn't work, like you think it's gonna. Other than that, I think, we have another story too, is that, apparently Lucasfilm is unhappy with Alden Ehrenreich's performance as Han Solo.
Wait, so LucasArts films, they're the ones that care? So who cares?
Well, let's see. They said that talent... I'm trying to find the exact quote here.
But I mean, overall, they don't even have any say in this anymore, do they?
Well, it looks like they even had a... I think they actually are... I think they must have some sort of weird involvement in here, because apparently they're actually hired a acting coach and stuff as well. I do not know that. I just have the title here. I didn't actually have I had it in the article, but it escaped me.
Okay,
I don't have it here. But yeah, I hear that they hired an acting coach for him, which is not great.
Not especially when you're filming.
So yeah, I'm a little bit more nervous about that Han Solo film now. Yeah. Although most of it got shot with Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Now it's just stitching it together. Apparently, they got Ron Howard to come back with it, and that guy's, while he had a pretty interesting career to begin with, his latest stuff has not been fantastic. It's been pretty standard. Yeah, I don't know. What do you feel about it? You still excited for the Han Solo film?
Well, I haven't really heard enough about it to actually get that excited, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it always kind of seems something like, you're gonna try capturing, the flavor of a character in a prequel is never really worked well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, it's a Star Wars prequel. Like, even if Rogue One was a good movie, I still, anytime I hear Star Wars prequel, I get warning bells saying like, this could be really bad.
Understandable indeed. So, apparently, speaking of superheroes,
because that's all we've been talking about.
Because that's all we've been talking about lately is that in Disney we have Marvel is in talks with that they might be introducing Captain Britain, along with an article that says Jason Statham is being considered for a Marvel role. So like for me, I'm like, it doesn't take Sherlock to put 2 and 2 together that he might be up in the running for Captain Britain.
I can't even tell if you're joking anymore.
Mm-hmm. I would cast him as Captain Britain, although I think he's been quoted before as saying not being very interested in doing superhero movies.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was weird because I thought he would never say no to a project.
That, and he was kind of just in one, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he says that he dismisses the action in Marvel films, that, like, stunt doubles do, like, most of the work, and he'd be like, he prefers his own stunt work on the Fast and Furious franchise and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. I think he would do a great job as Captain Britain, but, also on the Fast and Furious front.
Wait, there's Fast and Furious news?
Well, Michelle Rodriguez says that she may leave the Fast and Furious franchise.
Why?
If they don't end up doing stuff with their female characters.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, it's like, it'd be like, why? She has nothing else going on. And it's like, well, apparently she doesn't have much going on in the movies either.
That's kind of a fair argument.
Well, she had, they did bring her back to life in the 7th one, and and gave her a role in that. She doesn't really have a whole lot to do in 8, rather than, pine after Vin Diesel after he goes evil.
Pretty much. That she's there to be, not quite a damsel in distress, because she's chasing after him.
Yeah.
But, she's not exactly Mario.
Dom's sister, played by Joanna Brewster, was pushed off to the side after Paul Walker died, so but that one kind of made sense. The hacker Ramsey or whatever, played by the chick who's the handmaid from like Game of Thrones, she basically gets nothing.
Learn her name.
She has nothing to do rather than get hit on by the two by Roman and what's his name, Ludacris's character.
Yeah, but remember, she does have that hacking scene.
And she does one hacking scene, yeah. I mean, Charlize Theron got to be the villain, and she'll probably be back, so that's cool. Harlan Mirren got to be in it for a minute, so that was neat.
Yeah,
I mean, I get where she's coming from, like that a lot of their female characters either like because Gal Gadot died in a previous one, and kind of like got the rest of them seem to get like pushed off to the side a little bit. So I can kind of see that. But yeah, apparently, I don't know. I think she was quoted as saying, she left an Instagram quote or something. F8 is digitally out today. I hope they decide to show some love to the women of the franchise on the next one, or I just might have to say goodbye to a loved franchise. It's been a good ride, and I'm grateful for the opportunity the fans and studio have provided over the years. One love. I have no idea what that means. Yeah, so that sounds weird, like maybe she was just caught up in the moment or something, or maybe she's been pushing back and forth with the studio for a while now. So, yeah, Yeah, I could definitely see her argument on that one. To wrap it up, we have some Dragon Age news.
Well, we have the fact that there is news, kind of. That's all there is.
Basically, yeah. So, Dragon Age Inquisition, which was back in 2014. Was it 2014 now? Feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Since then we haven't had really much news or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently we are finally got the announcement that something is happening with Dragon Age.
Right.
And the Dragon Age team of BioWare is hiring a lot of people right now. And apparently Mike Ladla has been dropping hints lately. He's been jokingly said that I'm the creative director of Dragon Age franchise and they haven't fired me yet. So apparently we're still doing stuff. So yeah, basically the only news is that, hey, we're gearing up for that next one.
There could be a game at some point.
Which for me, I'm actually, I'll take that over anything, because I am excited to hear that it's at least in the works, that they're not going to be putting it on hiatus, or pushing it off and waiting for their other projects to go through.
Right. Well, hopefully they actually put, effort into this.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I don't think they'll make another, it's a different, I don't know. For me, I think it's a different idea than, Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, Mass Effect Andromeda is just like, that was an idea. They had a trilogy, they wrapped up, they didn't really have any idea where they were going to go after that. Dragon Age has much more of a, okay, we have an idea with Flemeth, Solus, and all this, and we have an idea of where we're going. It takes us forever to fucking get there, but...
I'm still gonna point out Dragon Age 2.
Yeah, and...
That's still a thing.
So, yeah, well, I haven't forgotten either. To be fair, I remember Dragon Age 2. And, but Dragon Age Inquisition was really fun.
Yeah.
I like especially the DLC that came out after it, which was like, okay, yeah, we're totally dealing with Flemeth and shit in the next one. They basically all but promise it with that last DLC, which is like, yeah, we're finally gonna do it.
Finally biting that bullet. And
for me, that makes me excited. But, on the flip side, if it does turn out to that, well, maybe we'll get one more. No. No. We're not doing one more thing. Deal with that shit now. I've gone through fucking, 300 hours of fucking story about teasing about who the fuck Flemeth might be, and we're gonna go, no. We're doing it the next one.
We're doing this.
It's over. We're done. We're doing it the next one. Plus, they set up a lot of, plot points. With, the Kunari about to invade, what's it called? Dorian's people, the fucking mages that are bad. Shit. Magisterium, magistrates. Fuck it. Goddamn.
I'm gonna let you go at this
Lord of the Rings fucking names. Anyway, while the Mass Effect trilogy basically wrapped up a bunch of stuff before Andromeda, Dragon Age
are pretty good about never wrapping up anything.
Dragon Age does a lot of setup and stuff in its very ending. Yeah. So it's like, so there's a lot of stuff for them to build off of, rather than Andromeda, which basically had to make a whole new...
We had to run away because they fucked up so bad.
Yeah. So for me, I would put that as I'd still be a little nervous because, Dragon Age 2 and everything.
Yep.
But considering the negative backlash they had for Andromeda, and the criticism they faced, and that team being basically dissolved now, so that I'm not sure who the Dragon Age team, if they're going to be the same guys that worked on the previous Dragon Age games. But I would say that, yeah, this one has a much more high likely of putting a lot more polish and thought into it, just from the jump, and then the lashback from Andromeda will only help to,
I hope so, at least,
to focus them down. Well, for me, I like to think that BioWare still gets a little bit of benefit of the doubt from me, is that they've been known to be a company that has listened to criticism and has reflected that in their next projects and stuff. Like, you looked at Dragon Age 2 to Dragon Age Inquisition, and there's a lot of stuff in there that's basically apologies for stuff that was in Dragon Age 2. But say if they fuck it up again and they've never felt really callous to their fans. If anything, they've always felt like, hey, yeah, we kind of fucked that one up. Let's we'll fix it. We will fix it in the next one.
My biggest problem is that they have to go back and retcon so many times. You know, they had to go back and basically make an ending for Inquisition. They had to go back and basically apologize for Dragon Age 2. They had to go back and make, you know, characters buy.
Yeah.
They had to go back too many times, and it's getting me really kind of annoyed at them.
Well, for me, I feel like that the BioWare has always been a little bit better than, say, other companies who have basically ignored a lot of their criticism.
I mean, that's fair, I guess. But...
I mean, the Assassin's Creed games...
Ugh, it's Ubisoft, let's face it.
Yeah, I mean, there are worse companies and worse developers.
Yeah, the fact that EA is one of them.
Yeah, I know. And EA, I feel like we gotta give BioWare... I don't know how much EA has pushed on them and stuff. And I feel like some of the problems, like... I really like Mass Effect 2 a lot, and I feel like some of those things that were improved from Mass Effect 1 was due to EA kind of going like, you need to make this a little more actiony, a little more accessible. But I think some of the other things in it, like say, I don't know, like Miranda's ass and how a lot of the female characters are dressed, I also feel like we're EA publishers.
Tally, you slut.
Tally, you hippie motherfucker. But yeah, so you gotta take some bad with the good. I feel like BioWare has always been one of those companies that has been the best at like spinning some really good story stuff and character stuff. And let's face it, I don't think Andromeda is like a fucking awful game. I think it's just like for a BioWare game, I'm like, god damn it, I'm used to way better than this.
Right, but at the same time, if Bethesda had made that game...
Oh, no one would even blink an eye at all the fucking shit that was wrong with it. They'd be like, oh yeah, totally.
Isn't this cute? Look at this little glitch.
Yeah, no one would have given a shit.
How many Skyrims have there been by now?
Yeah.
They're re-releasing that game?
So we do hold different developers and different companies to different standards.
But I also pay more money to different companies. You know, I don't... Bethesda, I usually like, okay, I'll buy your game once, and then I usually don't even bother buying the DLC because it's not worth my time.
Yeah. And as far as Andromeda went, I thought, like, you know, Dragon Age 2 was so egregious to how fucking cut corners they did.
Well, it's kind of sad because Dragon Age Origins was pretty generic overall. Like, it wasn't even I love that game, but I agree that it's just kind of like, it's fairly generic.
Yeah, well, even in some of the other stuff, like in Dragon Age 2, where they made some of the action more, like, you know, the combat a little more action-oriented, I was like, this is probably a good idea. I like the dog as a summon. That's kind of that's a good idea.
Much better than a party member.
Yeah, but then it's like, every good idea was met by, like, 3 cost-cutting ideas, and it was just like, fuck. But yeah, I think that we'll have to see for their new game. And I really do like the Dragon Age universe as well. Not as much as the Mass Effect universe, because I'm a little more sci-fi oriented. Plus, I feel like the Mass Effect universe is much more unique than anything else. I feel like it has a lot more, you know, unique ideas rather than the Dragon Age one has a lot of unique ideas as well, but it does steal a lot from like, hey, the elves are kind of pricks and like, and everyone kind of has like, the dwarves are these drunken douchebags.
So you're saying that the Star Wars AU universe is more unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they only steal basic concept, and Star Wars doesn't have giant jellyfish that worship ancient jaguar-looking people. But that could just be the fact that, like, hey, aliens, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
It's true.
Rather than fantasy universes where, like, we'll make Kunari. No one's done that before, right? Are they giant elves? Like, well, basically, but they're different. But yeah, with that, should we just cut to our musical break and we'll come back with a trailer talk right after this?
Sure.
Awesome. We'll be back right after this musical break.
Honey came in and she got me red-handed, creeping with the girl next door. Now picture this, we were both butt naked, banging on the bathroom floor. How could I forget that I had given her an extra key? All this time she was standing there, she never took her eyes off me.
And we're back for some trailer talk here on the UGO podcast. You ready to talk some trailers, Travis?
Most of the time, yes.
Well, with all that alliteration there, you better be.
It all depends what they are.
Oh, I think I'm going to change your name to Trailer Travis.
Trailer Travis. You guys, the rest of my name doesn't actually alliterate, right?
You know what? We should just watch bad trailers, and that way I can name you Travis Trailer Trash. Yeah? No? Not a good pitch for our new show?
No.
Alright, we'll table that one. Call that one, chalk up that one to brainstorming. Those are the thing as a bad idea in brainstorming.
There is now. You just made it.
Yeah. Let us check out some of the trailers for today. How about you're a fan of Jumanji, right?
Yeah, it was a fun film.
Yeah, and you're a 90s kid. We all watched it from time to time on VHS. You interested in Jumanji 2?
No.
With Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Maybe.
Here'll real sell it. Kevin Hart. I'll tell you what,
No.
that's what really. Alright, maybe not for Travis, but I think for many people that's a sticking point. So why don't we see what Jumanji 2 has for us in their first trailer?
Wow, this is a fun group. Welcome to detention. Spencer, Bethany, Fridge, Martha. You're all here for a reason.
Hey, person walking.
You should be thinking about who you are and who you want to be. You'll have plenty of time to figure that out while you're cleaning out the basement.
Are you gonna help or are you too pretty? I'm too pretty.
Yo, what's this?
Yeah, I thought this was a Jumanji film. Why is this fucking breakfast right?
Those who seek to find a way to leave their world behind. Jumanji.
Video game this time?
What?
And you're that person in the game.
Which one do I pick?
I don't think it matters that much.
Bruce Finbar. Sounds like a badass.
I'll be the curvy genius.
Dr. Smolder Bravestone.
Guess I'm Ruby Roundhouse.
I guess it doesn't matter.
He does the eyebrow lift immediately.
Look, babe.
Where's the rest of me?
Oh my God. Fridge?
Yeah, I'm Fridge. Who are you?
It's me, Spencer.
Who is she?
Martha?
Why am I wearing half a shirt and short shorts in the jungle?
I think we got sucked into Jumanji and we become the avatars we chose.
So that means...
Bethany?
Oh, Bethany? Don't look at it! No! I'm an overweight middle-aged man.
I don't have my Claritin and all I see around
Oh
here
no,
is-
I'm gonna star in School of Rock 2.
Damn, that is a man right there. Don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry, it's gonna be okay. This is a video game, which means we all have special skills.
Why am I running so fast?
That was so intense. I can't even with this place.
Watch your step in here.
Maybe we're all in a coma.
What?
That old game machine must have electrocuted us. Now we're all...
Holy shit!
What the fuck?
You better get in there and save her. I'm not gonna get in there. You get in there. Yeah, I got a backpack on. You don't get in water with a backpack. Everybody knows that.
Okay. Was it just me? Or was that kind of funny?
I have really mixed feelings on it. Like,
Okay. Now, get me wrong, like, some of the CG here could use some work.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't realize that it was going to be a video game, and that
No.
they were all going to be, like, their avatars. That's kind of smart.
It's kind of funny.
That's kind of a good idea.
Like, I think it all is going to depend how well they plan that up.
Yeah, like, and then they're all their different avatars, and then one of them's even gender bent as Jack Black, is this chick, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like that this, like, you know, they are, like, they do look like avatars from a fucking video game, like the different people. I kind of like the aspect of the Rock being this kind of avatar of manliness, being driven by this 14-year-old that's trying to figure this shit out. I don't know. I some of this humor could go away of like Jack Black being actually being a girl could be like go the way of the hot chick with Rob Schneider or whatever. But I don't know. I thought like the idea is actually more interesting than I first thought.
Mm-hmm. It has its moments. I guess I could see potential in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting to just make fun of this trailer the whole time, but I'm just like, actually, there's some good ideas going on here. Like, it's hard to knock it. I think that Kevin Hart and The Rock have been proven to be pretty good comedic partners for a while. I know they like working together, so I think that'll sell it. I don't know what the stakes are. If they die in the game, do they die in real life?
Well, it can't be because we see a character being eaten by a hippo.
Yeah, well, then again, they're video game characters. Do they get extra lives? That could be kind of funny.
Yeah.
They get an extra life.
Because, I mean, hippos are really nasty creatures.
Maybe there's going to be more humor with this video game logic of it. I kind of want to see more of that.
Yeah.
It only hints at it at the very beginning. But I'm assuming there's got to be a little bit more than that. Because that's... I don't know.
Well, I said, we must have, special powers and that kind of thing.
For a movie series that really could have just gone, it's the board game again, and this is just a remake of Jumanji, this actually has some creativity behind it, which is just shocking for me. I was like, oh, you took the idea of Jumanji, but you decided, well, what if we spun it a little and did a little something different with it? Which is just something I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm just not used to that, actually some effort into making it.
You're used to just direct remakes.
Yeah, I'm so used to direct remakes that any amount of effort to make it different shocks me. I'm like, oh, holy shit. Yeah, for a movie that I had no interest in whatsoever, I'm kind of like, you know what? If I see another trailer...
Yeah, that's gonna be the main thing.
If I see another trailer and it impresses me again, I think I'm gonna go see this. I'm shocked that I'm even contemplating saying that, because I thought this was a fucking dumb idea.
Well, it's got The Rock in it. He's always fun.
Yeah. But, yeah, with that, should we move on to our next one?
Yeah. What's up now?
Well, I'm not sure. There's a bunch of scary movies, a bunch of franchises are, on their way back. We got the Universal movie monsters even on their way back. But, we gotta find the original scary guy. We gotta find, our most terrifying of franchise bad guys, Chucky.
Huh.
He is coming back.
I mean, I guess it's about time.
Yeah, so let's give that a watch.
I was 6. My babysitter was murdered.
And they never caught him?
Justice was done.
Wanna play?
Mika, the murders were real. Chucky never was. That's right. He was a fantasy. A delusion.
Are you feeling better now?
I don't blame you for being afraid. I was very ill.
Chucky told me. He's coming for you.
It's important that we all explore it together as a group. I think I have something that will help. Whoa.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Fuck you.
First, he'll kill each and every one of you in the most horrible ways you can imagine. And then he'll kill me too.
Come to mommy.
Are you afraid of the truth?
Terrified. You should be too.
Right. And they call me sick?
Wait a minute, there's 2 of them?
A true classic never goes out of style.
So that was the trailer for Cult of Chucky.
A direct-to-DVD movie.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Are you actually going to tell me that Chuck is the villain, not the guy with that hair? I mean, really?
Okay, so this film franchise, it has gone super crazy to the point where in the last one, I think Chucky had a fucking kid.
Because that makes sense.
Because they had the bride of Chucky, who was Jennifer Tilly, who was also back. And then in the previous one, they actually met Jennifer Tilly, like the actress. And it's just like, what? This film series has gone so fucking nuts. And now we're back, and we even have brought Jennifer Tilly back again. Like, I don't even know anymore. And it's like, they have this, they're in this mental institution, and it's like, Oh, the Chucky doll wasn't actually real. The murders happened.
Yeah.
These crazy fucked up murders happened, but the doll was never real. Then I'm like, well then who the fuck committed the murders?
Well, even that beginning scene where it's like, oh, he was never caught, he was put to justice. I'm like, what does that even mean?
That they killed him a bunch of times, but he kept coming back. Chucky is like, never been scary.
Yeah.
Like, he's never been scary to me. He's actually more terrifying when
the doll.
As the doll before he, that doll, when he first brings it out, man, I'm like, fuck that doll.
Mm-hmm.
That doll is fucking scary even before he starts wielding weapons. He actually gets a lot more silly when he starts, flipping people off.
Yeah, and talking.
And talking. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of the Chucky franchise.
Yeah, no.
And I don't see how this film could add anything different other than, I guess, some of these people actually worship Chucky or are in league with him. Like, this one woman is crazy. Maybe she thinks he's his kid or something. I don't know. I feel like once you do the I have a son, like you do the bride of Chucky and the seed of Chucky, I'm like, yeah, you're out of ideas.
Yeah.
It's time to bring this one to a fucking end.
I mean, the mental hospital thing is a kind of neat idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, there can be people, doubting their sanity, like people that are just insane.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, they're bringing Saw back, so I guess it's anything. But, yeah, chalk this one as the one I'm gonna skip.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't ever planning on watching this.
Yeah. But, should we move on to our last one?
Sure. Is that an, actual good movie or more of a...
Well, let's leave it up to side. I haven't watched this one. It's,
okay.
The Death Note trailer.
Oh, so not a good movie.
The new Netflix one.
I was worried we'd actually have a good one.
Oh, come on. You can't prejudge that. We gotta give it a chance on the trailer, right?
First 5 seconds, I'm already judging.
Alright, let's watch, the trailer for Netflix's Death Note.
Miserable. Make life dangerous.
And who's this white guy that Light's gonna kill?
What if we can change things?
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. They're giving this white guy the Death Note before Light eventually gets it.
Is written in this note shall die.
Oh crap!
Shall we?
The monster from A Monster
Groot?
Calls?
You're a death god.
That was just fan art. They literally just stole fan art.
Put your name down and see what happens.
It's not gonna solve a few crimes. It's gonna solve all crime. Do you think that I'm crazy?
I think you're not crazy enough. We could change the world.
The killer is taking credit for over 400 deaths. Although we do not know how he kills his victims, we do know he's not some omnipotent force. He's a person. Like you or me.
You're the one who flew into the sun.
So that's
I'm just here to make sure you burn.
That is
We're not good guys anymore.
Hope you know what you're doing.
I mean, the hoodie thing is kind of weird, but whatever.
I promise you, you will not survive.
What they want is a god. So let's give it to them.
So, what was that whole thing about prejudging again? I need to hear that again.
Alright, so, that was the trailer for Death Note, or Netflix's Death Note.
Can I borrow your notebook real quick? I want to write this movie's name down in it.
No, mine is not a Death Note. It's more like
try.
Okay, so there are a couple things about this movie that I'm concerned about.
I'm not concerned at all.
One thing being that what the hell does this even look like? Like the way it's shot, I get that there's like a morose feeling for some of the shots that kind of works, and like this blue filter, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this This sort of feels like the anime.
Let's remind ourselves that Netflix lately has been canceling shows to make sure they take more risks.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they start losing money.
Well, it's like we're not canceling enough shows. Like, hey, well, here's up on the docket that you can probably cancel.
Right.
Although this is supposed to be a movie, right?
Right.
This is their movie. So, yeah. I think that the casting of, like, you know, the whitewashing of Death Note, where it was like they set it in America and stuff.
We knew that was coming a long time ago.
We knew that was coming a long time ago. I'm not super pissed about it. I don't see why it couldn't have been a Japanese story, because it's not like it's on a network, it's on Netflix. Netflix, that could fly more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have a more international audience. I don't understand why they had to be American. But whatever. The story itself, the main premise of some dude getting a notebook that can kill people, that can be done anywhere, really. True. It's weird that they call him Kira. Like, yeah, I'm like, okay, I mean, that's weird if you're not in Japan, but fine, I guess. And then Willem Dafoe's Ryuk, how he's shown in shadow, like, that looks pretty neat. I'm a little worried about when he finally gets into a full light shot, like what he's gonna look like.
That's the reason they didn't show that.
You are right that artwork.
Seriously, they have like that Japanese scroll. I'm like, that's just someone's fan art.
That's deviant art shit. And the guy they got playing Light, I get nothing off of this guy.
He's a douche.
He is such a generic looking white guy. And it's not even I like Light in the show. And I'm gonna be straight up, Death Note is not exactly my favorite anime either. I feel like Death Note is one of those shows that I've watched all the way to the end just because the way they structured the story and the plot was always like every time an episode would end, you go like, whoa, what's gonna happen next? And then Light is such a douche.
Yeah.
Like, he's such an asshole of a character, you can't get behind him at a certain point.
I just remember watching that show, and I'm really interested until I missed one episode. I'm like, well, I don't care.
And then, you know, I think there's a reason that the other live action movies have always followed L rather than Light. Because I feel like, yeah, he's more interesting of a protagonist. Because they've made other live action movies before in Japan and stuff, so that have followed L as a detective. Which I hear are to varying quality. I don't know, I've not watched them.
I couldn't even tell the person they casted as, you know, L was L at first. He's just like wearing a hoodie. I'm like, who the hell is this? Oh, I'm guessing it's L. Well, they showed him like sitting like L does. I'm like, okay, I guess that's L.
Well,
why was he wearing a hoodie? Like, how was he having his face covered and acting to a microphone? Because we already know that doesn't work.
There's a microphone underneath this thing.
Yeah,
you know.
It's just like, it's weird.
But yeah,
but hey,
the general idea is that, you know, you have to know someone's name and face in order to kill them. And the show was always like, well, no one's ever going to know my name because no one else knows me by anything but L, and that's a pseudonym.
Right.
So, which I always thought that's a weird arbitrary rule. Like, if you would change your name legally, does the Death Note not know it?
That's a whole kind of fair, like a Fae rule to begin with. Like, that's a pretty classic rule.
Yeah. And, okay. So, this trailer doesn't really work unless you know what Death Note is.
Pretty much.
Because they don't really explain anything about it, other than the fact that I wrote my name in this, someone's name in this, and they died. Like, they get that part down, but they don't really explain anything else. Like, if you're watching this and you don't know the rules, like, you just go like, who is this dude in a hoodie? Like, why is he wearing this fucking hoodie? Like, you'd just be like, what? They don't really explain Ryuk, like, I think they mentioned Death God in it, but it's like, they don't really mention, like, why he's there.
No, this literally was just a trailer that you would only watch if you were a fan of the show, and you probably won't like it if you're a fan of the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought Willem Dafoe might bring a kind of weird energy to this, but with his whispering thing going on, I didn't even get a bunch out of that from his lines.
Without seeing Willem Dafoe, I think he just won't have the same impact.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate, because that's... I don't know. Off of this trailer, I'm going to need something else, because this trailer has not invigorated me in any way to keep up with this.
This is another one where I'm like, I had no plan on watching this.
I'm not crazy about the original anime, so this one would have like, oh, well, this one will be shorter, it'll be a movie or whatever, so maybe it'll be a little more interesting. But now I'm thinking that like, and even with that, with a seemingly flat main character and even less time to brush it out. I don't know. Is it really a movie? Now I'm thinking of like, man, it would be really odd that it's a movie.
I thought it was a movie, but
yeah. I mean, I keep hearing that, but it sounds so weird to me that take this really long form story and maybe they're gonna make it multiple movies. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, let's just say this again. If it is more than just one thing, Netflix already just feel free to put this on your docket of things to cancel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, on that note, should we wrap it up? And we'll go into our interview with Chris Cox of oneofus.net.
Sounds good.
So, yes, we'll be back right after this musical break. And this is Nick with the UGO podcast here again with another Austinite interview. I'm seriously making the rounds right now because I'm here with Chris Cox himself. You want to say hi, Chris?
Hello, Chris.
Very good.
Sorry, I'm old school.
The old, you know what? I like it. You know, I was weird that we had the rim shot, like the drum set over there, but now I see it's for rim shots specifically.
Yes, of course.
Got it. Okay. But yes, we had met actually first time in person last night.
Yes, although we have recorded together before online.
Yes, we have. I've done a couple Skype stuff with you, and I've been an admirer of yours, and since the Spill days. And you now have your own thing, One of Us, which I also greatly enjoy.
Which you got to collaborate on with us this weekend for our review of 47 Meters Down and our commentary of Deep Blue Sea.
Man, that was
I double giant killer shark attacked you.
When I came down here, I didn't come think I would be spending so much time watching shark movies and contemplating the existence of God during them. But
well, it's what happens when you get in the middle of a long shark movie and you start to get bored.
It's inevitable. It's just a thing that happens. But yeah, I really had a lot of fun, and I'm so glad I got to collaborate with you guys. And as a fan, I'm a little disappointed because, now I realize your standards are that low that you'd have someone like me on, but...
You're clearly good at what you do. I don't say that to a lot of people. I told you when you came in. Mm-hmm. You have a real gift for this, and you should keep doing it.
Oh, pshaw. Go on.
Stop. No, don't.
No, seriously. But don't. No, thank you. That means quite a bit coming from you, because I know you've been doing this for the long haul. How long have you been...
I don't even know anymore.
I mean, you had an Access show,
I
right?
mean, not counting the Access show, it's been over a decade, and I don't know. I think it's been, or maybe just under a decade. But counting the Access show, it's probably more like 15 years.
Yeah, so that's quite a significant amount of time. But
to be goofy with your friends while talking about movies, yes, that is. I never would have thought this is where I'd be, but here I am, still doing it.
So if the few people at home who don't know or who aren't familiar, do you want to explain oneofus.net and all the lovely content that you have on there?
Well, of course, evolving out of Spill.com, which was a lot of fun, but our parent company were buttholes, and so they shut us down despite very high numbers.
You guys got great numbers from what I remember.
Yeah, it was, I can't really go into the details, but suffice it to say that company was being terribly mismanaged, and the person who took over had no interest in us when they did. So we got sidelined. But everybody kind of went their own way and did their own thing. Corey asked me, who was the head of that site early on, if you were going to think about doing your own thing, now is probably a good time to go ahead and get into it, because this is before he had planned on doing Double Toasted. At that point, his plan was to move to Turkey with his girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, he was going to get out completely. And he's like, so if you're going to do it, you should do it now. So me and a guy I was doing a show with on that site, Brian Salisbury, we were doing a Blu-ray DVD release show called Remote Viewing. Mm-hmm. We're like, oh, well, we should do it. We should form our own site. And I had actually owned the URL for oneofus.net for a while, because I just liked the sound of it. From the movie Todd Browning's Freaks, that whole, we're freaks. And then that encouragement and the idea of being like even more inclusive of like, we want to like have everybody have a chance to, be passionate about their thing and nobody to be shitting on anybody else because of their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we've kind of lived up to that with what we do. I mean, we cover all sorts of stuff on here. I mean, certainly nobody wants to hear me on the music podcast because I wouldn't know what I was talking about. So I don't really appear on that very often. Or nobody wants to hear me on the sports podcast because I'm like, sports ball, what is that? I don't know. But there are people who are very passionate about that stuff. And I think they are no less to be credited for the goodness of their geekiness than people who are like me and like comics and movies and TV shows and video games and what have you. And I've also tried very hard to be very inclusive with including a lot of people. Like I know Corey's definitely more comfortable with a set group of people, and that's fine. And that works great. I like to continue to bring in new blood and new faces and like have people like with different opinions. And we keep launching new shows because people start working with us and they're like, hey, I've got an idea for a show I'd love to do. It's like, by all means.
Absolutely. That sounds great. And I appreciate that. I mean, I know definitely Double Toasted has its own feel, which is also good, but I do like the openness of just like, I'll hit on a highly suspect review and I don't know who I'm going to get. I don't even know. And I kind of like that. Like, okay, I don't even know whose opinions I'm getting today, but I know they're going to be strong ones. That's
except
for sure.
Usually me. 99% of the time I'm on it.
Mm-hmm. And I really like all the shows. Your remote viewing show kind of became Digital Noise.
Yes, where we still do that, the home releases. It's not every week anymore. Mainly we just save up for like 2.5 weeks and then do a show.
Yeah. And you guys go through a lot of content with like you cover a lot of titles, like just everything that comes out. I stuff that like I'm sure 2 people like are really appreciative. Like, oh, I'm glad that you covered that. I love that movie. But like some really obscure stuff of like, but it's interesting because even though listening to Digital Noise, I'm like, man, these guys, no matter how many titles they talk about, they have something different to say about every one.
Well, thank you.
And it's like I never feel like repeating anything. Which is really good for you and your collaborators. You rotate co-hosts.
I have two co-hosts right now on that show, and a third one will be coming back at some point. He's been remodeling his entire house, which is a little bit intensive. But yeah, we to some degree rotate around on that one because honestly, watching a stack of Blu-rays on top of all the theatrical stuff, on top of editing everything on the site and putting it all up, on top of now going back to reading a ton of comic books because the next season, as we call it, of The Original Gentleman is definitely going to be very comics oriented, as many people requested. I mean, there's just so much media consumption that there was a point I was like, I need a break from something. Something's got to give. So I got these guys to agree to kind of every other show be the one heading the Digital Noise show, so I didn't have to watch quite as many. Right now, I'm in the position where I'm still on every show right now, because one of the guys, like I said, was like, I gotta fix my house. So now, yeah, I'm like up to my ears in media consumption, which is fun, but people don't, if you've never done it, people don't think of it as work.
Yeah.
And believe you me, it's work.
I didn't realize it until we started to do an Arrowverse crossover review with another anime podcast that we've done collaborations with, because they liked Arrow too, and I did it with a couple other guys, and we started it around like season 4 and stuff, and now with season 5 of Arrow, I'm like, man, this feels like work. I don't want to watch any more Arrow. I really don't.
I can't blame anyone. I'm all caught up because I also have to talk about all those TV shows. I always watch them all because I know they're going to send me all the for some reason CW sends me whatever I ask for. I don't know why. But they always send me all the sets for all those shows. And it's so much easier to just watch them as they go rather than wait and try and like go straight through an entire season at once. And like we've gotten into now because they all come out pretty much in the same month, the Blu-ray sets. So we just do a special show of the Arrowverse shows or all the superhero network shows all at once, you know?
Yeah. The only one I really liked this season was Supergirl. I thought it was pretty top notch.
I thought that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was amazing this season.
Okay, don't sell me on it again because I don't want to get back on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's good.
I keep going back and forth on it. I mean, it's not as bad as Walking Dead going back and forth, but I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with both Walking Dead and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
See, I don't think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ever got that bad. I thought it started kind of weak, but not like the worst thing you've ever seen weak. Like, this is kind of wishy-washy. And then about towards the end of the first season, it got a lot better. And then the second season was a good degree better. And then the third season was fucking great. The fourth season was next to Legion, the best season of superhero TV that we got this year.
Really?
And I'm like, man, I think it's a pretty damn good show. I think too many people wrote it off too early. Now, Walking Dead, I get it. I must be a masochist because I still keep watching it, and I'm always like, why am I still watching this fucking show? All it does is make me feel like shit.
I know. That's interesting you say. Yeah, maybe I will have to catch back up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. then, because I quit halfway through season 3, but everyone's telling me how great season 4 is.
You didn't like season 3?
Season 3...
You're just sick of the Inhumans?
The Inhumans and how inconsistent they are with like their storylines and like who they're focusing on, and like Daisy, I'm not really invested in her as a character. I mean, Ward got so much more interesting when he was a villain, so I'm glad that turn happened. But then Mockingbird, who's played by
Adrian
Pilecki, who's great pick, by the way, like really good casting, and her Nick Blood as Hunter, I think, and those were like my favorite part of the show.
So unfortunate that they wrote them off thinking they were going to get a spinoff.
And they were going to spin off and I'm like, oh, I would watch that show. I haven't seen the pilot, but apparently it's floating around somewhere.
Yeah, so I hear.
Yeah. So they're gone, and I'm just like, it left a big kind of hole, like, I don't know.
My guess is they'll end up incorporating that pilot into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point, just so that, because, well, we filmed it, so we might as well have an episode with that so we can bring those characters back into the show, as like a sort of a reverse backdoor pilot.
Reverse backdoor. Like, wow, they will have to, that's like Flash level timeline stuff of trying to rewrite their own weird S.H.I.E.L.D. flashpoint.
I mean, one thing I think that they started to do right is they stopped trying to focus on any one character as the primary character and made it more of an ensemble show, which is good. Because everybody,
that's good.
I think they've got a lot of cool characters there. They just were so fucking focused on Daisy that I was like, okay, she'd be fine if she was just another character in this ensemble, but she's not that interesting of a person to lead the show, to be the audience avatar, as it were.
Yeah.
And now they're very much, everybody kind of has their own equal things to do. And I like that much better.
Yeah. I think they also suffer from the fact that the movies kind of want to have nothing to do with them. Like, there's a really big disconnect.
It's not so much want to have nothing to do with them. It's not like the movie people are like, oh, the TV show's terrible. It happened when basically Kevin Feige, before they started making Doctor Strange, stepped into Marvel's exec offices and said, this shit's got to stop.
He laid on the law.
Yeah, there cannot be any more your Council of Nine telling me what to do with these movies. You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you just constantly want to like adjust both these worlds, and that's just not going to work. You already responsible for some of the stuff that pissed people off in Age of Ultron, that pissed people off in Thor 2. Like, that's got to stop. And they agreed, but what happened is that ended up splitting that, like cutting the connection cord between the people running the TV shows and the movies. I mean, I don't think there's any specific ill will so much as there's just no system for communication right now. And God knows they're both pretty goddamn busy. I mean, it's interesting that originally the plan was to make the Inhumans part of the movie franchise.
Right. And
they backed away from that, and now it's part of the TV franchises. They're launching the big, like, pilot that's going to play at the same time in IMAX theaters, like the first 2 episodes or whatever, which looks to me pretty bad, but whatever.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, of what I've seen so far, I'm like, this really looks fucking terrible. But you never know. You never write anything off until you give it a fair shake.
Yeah.
And once again, I do like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. universe, so I'm willing to give it a shot. I do wish they would connect the TV shows that exist. Like, why isn't there any connection between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Netflix shows? Well, obviously because they're different networks, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, but the contract should be drawn up from the get-go that say you have to be okay with a certain amount of crossover and cross appearances from the beginning. I mean, it feels like there's an organizational, like, thing that's missing from the contracts from the beginning that should have been there.
Yeah. Well, and then, they might be backing off on Inhumans, like, I think you put forth this theory of like the X-Men might be coming back in at some point. I'm like, every year it seems like that might be more and more likely that might happen.
My theory is definitely, it's too long to go into all the different points of it, is that the deal's already happened between Fox and Marvel, and it's going to be a process. They keep insisting there's nothing going on, but every direction they're going leads me to believe that their plan is to post the second Avengers movie coming up, split open the reality and be able to introduce the X-Men into that universe.
Yeah, I think that's pretty likely. Maybe Deadpool just pop out of nowhere and finally, yes, I am here.
I even love how, like, this makes me laugh because in the comics, of course, Wolverine is dead. And they're sticking to a regular timeline. I don't know how you define all of it. I guess Earth 616 or whatever.
Yeah.
That Wolverine is dead. And everybody loved Mark Millar's Old Man Logan run so much with the possible dystopian future that got more or less turned into the movie Logan.
Mm-hmm.
That they were like, oh, well, we'll just do a thing where he gets transported to the parallel timeline. So now he's the Wolverine Old Man Logan in this. Simultaneously, at the same time, here's Hugh Jackman loudly going, well, I'm obviously getting too old to play Wolverine anymore. And like Marvel being all sneaky going, no, you're not.
Man, that feels like some backdoor, like some slide shit. Like, hey, just in case you want to play it more.
It's fine with me. And Hugh Jackman as Wolverine was one of those like casting coups, just like getting Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man.
Yes.
It was so dead on. It was like, come on, guys. Although Bo would disagree. He's always like, he's too tall to be Wolverine. I'm like, come on.
I am also used to short, kind of like really hairy, kind of like almost ugly Wolverine. But Hugh Jackman does bring a real physicality and like, I don't know, he's got that Eastwood look, and I think that's important when playing Wolverine, who's this badass Western loner that'll come into a town and, you know, the bad guys will chase him and they'll fuck up that town. And like, how many Logan stories, or how many, you know, Wolverine stories are like that, are like the man with no name. You know, except, you know, I guess Logan, Weapon X, Wolverine. He's the man with a lot of names, but, yeah, so, man, what were we talking about originally? Oh, yeah, we were talking about your network, and I wanted to more focus on that, but man, I love superhero talk as well.
Yeah, I know. We both are easily distracted.
I know. But yeah, you do a lot of conversations just like this, on all, like, because you're the most prolific on all your shows.
Yeah, I'm definitely on more of the podcasts than anybody.
Yeah, so, and I greatly enjoy hearing your conversations with other people. You got a nice chemistry. Do you have like a strategy, or is it just kind of a natural type of thing?
And strategy is terms of,
you know, talking with people, like if you need them to open up, like if you're like, you know, talking with someone maybe newer, or like
you just have to get a feel for it. It all depends on who else is in the room. Mm-hmm. It's not always going to work every time. There's going to be podcasts. I go sometimes like, damn it, that was not. Obviously, no matter what you try to do, it's not always going to get that balance right. Sometimes you have to, like, you know, so you don't embarrass people, you pull them aside privately and go, hey, I just have some suggestions for you of things you should try to do a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. You know, there are people who've been on and then they just didn't work out. You know, there were a couple people along the way who I talking to in person was like, oh, they're going to be great. And then you get them on mic and it's like, yeah, this isn't working at all. Yeah. And you give them a while and it just doesn't work. And some of them are self-aware enough to pull away on their own, and others I've had to just, you know, basically say,
yeah,
maybe this isn't your calling.
Yeah, okay. But you got to be diplomatic about it.
Well, yeah, no, you try not to be an asshole to anybody about anything if you can help it.
Yeah.
And that's not a situation that would be a situation to be an asshole about. You're like, hey, so somebody's not great in a podcast scenario. It's not one of the more useful skills in life anyway. So,
well, you know, we thrive in for me, it's like a startup kind of hobby almost. Mm-hmm. But for you, it is like your business.
It is.
And if you want to survive in this business, it's my theory is that we're not, there's not enough, you know, you have to be nice. Like for us, it's like there's no option. Like there's no amount of like, you know, fame or fortune that's going to go with this that's going to make up for our dickishness. Like if we were high level paid actors or something. So we have to be as friendly and not burn any bridges whatsoever. Like most of it's networking. So
I think most people who get into this in the first place are either shameless egotists, you know, like Dan Harmon or somebody like that, but
yes,
so funny and has so many other funny friends that it works that he's an asshole.
Man,
or there are people who are just nice people to begin with, who are like, I just like talking to people, I like having fun with people, I like having a good conversation, which is more where I like to think I come from. Like, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be sitting at a bar having these same conversations with my friends. So
yeah, and just pop on a mic. So I agree, and I love that feel of like the round table kind of feel, and I especially love that you're kicking up Theog again.
Yes,
I love that because my favorite show ever back in Spill.com was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Nice.
To the point where I can't even say the Alan Moore, The League of Extreme...
We all do it. We all do it. Every time we have to mention the movie or the book, we accidentally start to say Extremely Ordinary instead.
And I gotta think really hard. If I'm on a podcast, I gotta explain, I'm sorry, it's this other podcast I really used to like and listen to. It's like, I gotta take off like a 2-minute explanation every time I mess it up.
I mean, I have friends I've known for years, like hanging out with, both on the various podcasts and not, who still sometimes slip up and call me Cyrus.
Yes.
Which was my name on that old site.
Mm-hmm. And was that a legal thing?
I guess. I think it was when it started, Corey was concerned about likeness rights type stuff and things like that. Yeah. I don't really know the particulars. I didn't care. I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah, because I know it was you had a different name. Martin was...
All of us but Corey had different names.
Leanne, but Corey was the same.
Yes.
Okay.
He had a very different contract structure than we did. So, we didn't have a contract at all. We were contract labor, if you will,
Sure.
But we didn't have a salary with the site or anything like that. We were pay for go. Everything we did, we were paid a certain amount for. Mm-hmm. And Corey, on the other hand, was getting a straight salary and had to have a much more structured, specific thing.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right, well, that makes sense. And then the league, the guys you brought on, I've never. I think most of the reason I think I started my podcast is that I couldn't find another podcast like that, and the certain magic, because I have a theory of podcasting is best in threes, in threes, that's the magic number. Any less, and it's kind of just like two people having really inside baseball conversations. They'll have inside jokes, like me and my co-host kind of run into a problem with that. Mm-hmm. But 4, you start to get
depends on the people. To be sure. You can do a great... 4 can be the magic number if it's the right 4 people.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, I like, me and my co-host and then a guest. And then that's where I feel like the magic is best. But the Leog was
the opposite tact.
It's it was magical. You had 7 people on that sometimes.
The goal for that one was always, because people are always like, "Oh, I love listening to Spill." It's like I'm hanging out with you guys. I don't really have any friends like you guys, and I wish I did, who are as geeky as I was and funny. And we're like, oh, well, let's do it where they're at a party full of these people. And that was kind of the premise there. Hey, you're a fly on the wall at a big dorky party, which was exactly what it was. I mean, trust me, every week in my house, there was 30, 40 people here. And you would hear maybe 12 of them over the space of a 3-hour Leog, would get on and off mic. And in the backyard, there was just madness. I mean, I had hundreds of bottles of liquor because people would just bring liquor here. There was always a ton of beer. I mean, it was a big party every single week for years.
That sounds like a fun time.
It was. And then I was very tired of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. So you had even a reserve Leog in the back at any time. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it'd be people who would be who would sometimes be on mic, but most of the time they were just here because this was where all of our friends group hung out every week. They knew at the Leog podcast, all their buddies would be there, so they'd come to hang out.
Yeah. I love it. I love listening to, I even re-listened to the old episodes at one point, a year back. I actually went back and re-listened to them just to, kind of soak it in again, because how much I enjoy just your repartee.
I wish I could tell people where to listen to it, but as far as I know, it pops up occasionally on torrent sites, and that's about it.
When I knew the site was going down...
You downloaded them all?
I grabbed them all. And so, okay, if anyone's listening, I don't know how legal this is, but, maybe someone could help you out if you want to listen to them. Maybe someone can send them to you. I don't know.
Them all, but I know I can't give them out.
Okay.
That's one of those things, because I was being paid to do it, if I handed them to anybody, then there's possible legal issues. So it's if you want to come to my house and hear them, but you're not going to be able, that's not going to happen.
Right.
But in theory.
So yeah, if you guys are interested in listening to that great podcast, hit me up and maybe it'll magically appear in your inbox. I don't know. I can't control what happens on the internet.
It was an accident.
It's magic. I don't even know how that works. It's like tubes, right?
Yeah.
That's
and
how it
cats.
Works. And I'm pretty sure cats are a big element.
Cats
in
tubes.
Yeah. And yeah, I love listening in and like I feel like I'm reading the origin or Secret Origins #1 of like, say, this is the issue where Brian Salisbury was first introduced. And
he did get his start on as well on the Leog. That was his first podcasting, I believe. So,
and then the long running feud with John Rubio began.
No, I don't even know what was going on with all that. I'm not even sure if it was a real feud or not.
I can't tell.
Stuff. There's always shit that was going on. Martin and I always used to go, we'd like, something would like explode in our faces that had to do with other people having problems with each other here and there. Mm-hmm. And apparently it would be stuff that had been going on for months, but we didn't know because we were always on mic, right?
Yes.
There was never when we weren't on mic. The two of us were always there. So all this shit would be going on from stuff in the backyard and in the kitchen or some shit. And we're like, people are like, how'd you not know? I'm like, because we're always on mic. We don't see all your soap opera shit going on. And that's going to happen when you get any group of like, young 20, 30 somethings together and ply them with booze incessantly every week.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember every time you brought on a new female member, they would be snatched up within like 6 months by another member.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then I remember you guys you staged a fight on an April Fool's prank between Harris and
I want to say it was Rubio.
Was it Rubio again?
I think it was
that
Rubio.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
because of the anime corner thing.
We staged a lot of stuff back then for fun because the show itself, I mean, the structure was always, we were always doing funny stuff with it and editing. Like, I mean, that was one everybody got freaked out about that. I mean, and all that evolves out of the real deal because we used to do yearly April Fool's Day pranks that people would somehow fall for every single year. Like, we had one where a bunch of guys came into the studio and physically attacked us and people called the police and everything. It was just like, okay. My favorite episodes were the ones not so much where we were pranking, but where we had a very theme oriented, like we did one about parallel worlds that we were talking about that in comic books and movies. And then the show itself was every time we came back, it was a parallel Earth version of Leog with a different cast.
You did one very similar with time travel. That was really cool. Yeah. And it even had like some Lost sound effects in there and like a Back to the Future musical theme thing. It was, see, that's like the stuff that I like to do this similar stuff on my podcast too, because I love that feel of just like someone put, we sat down and recorded and we shot the shit, but also it feels like, someone went and put a lot of work into it too, editing wise, which, most of the time in podcasts, the editing is it's done. And if it's good, you don't even notice it. You wouldn't even know that it was edited at all. So I like, getting reminded like, someone took very care to make sure this episode was as good as it could be. So I always did appreciate that. And then, I loved all your theme episodes, but the one I think that is the top though, is that you had a couple episodes where you had people run down, certain plots of like a comic book and you'd all dogpile on them.
Yeah.
And the best one, the one that kicked it off was of course, Batman R.I.P.
Yeah. Which is still one of the most batshit, like, no pun intended.
Oh,
no, it literally, I was accidental. Like comic book runs in a primary issue character comic book ever written. We were just like, none of us were reading it except Martin, known as Leon at the time. And so we're like, and that happened by accident, kind of, where we're like, well, tell us what the story was. And it was just so continually stupid that we just all dogpiled on him. And it was one of the funniest, half hour or something that we ever recorded.
He starts off by saying, when I read it all, when I finally read the last issue, it all started to make sense to me. And I'm like, you have Stockholm syndrome because this is nuts. And he gets to the weapons grade crystal meth part.
Yeah, we all just couldn't stop laughing at that line.
I've incorporated that now in our Geek Trivia contest, which will be later tonight. I always keep a question in: what substance did Grant Morrison have Batman use during his Batman R.I.P.? I forget how I phrased the question, but the punchline is that no one ever sometimes people will guess meth and they'll get a half point, but I have yet to have one person do the full point.
It's the only correct answer is weapons grade
crystal meth.
Yeah, it's different than regular crystal meth. It might as well be a completely different drug. I'm not sure how you weaponize crystal meth, but that was why that was so funny.
You know what was great is that a guy at a convention came up to me after the thing and said, there's a reason why they call it weapons grade crystal meth is that they designed, it was designed as a substance, for soldiers to use to enhance sense, like their sensory and like they don't have to sleep and stuff. And I'm like, that sounds correct. But then he's also said a bunch of other really crazy shit.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, so basically crystal meth.
Yeah. And I'm just like, well, that's just crystal meth. Like, I don't know I'm still confused as the weapons grade part of it. Yeah. Plus, you also think like there's this big conspiracy going on, like the the WB becoming the C. That dude was weird. I won't get into it.
I met him. It came up to you at a con. That's going to happen.
I was nice and everything, but afterwards I looked at my co-host and we were just like laughed like, what was that?
Some of the weirdest conversations I've ever had were when we were at cons, people coming up to us where you're just like, what the fuck just happened?
And you even had your own con, like Spill.con.
We did that a couple years, Spill.con. That was a lot of fun. There was less unexpected weirdnesses there than there was, say, when we'd be at Comic-Con in San Diego and we'd host an event there where anybody could come and there was some where you're like, I don't know what to say to you because you're so weirdly scared to talk to us. I'm like, well, I'm not going to juggle. So unless you want to have a conversation, I got to move on and talk to somebody else. There's one poor kid who came in from like Arizona or some shit. Like his mom drove him to San Diego just to see us.
Really?
And this kid was like 16 or something. Mm-hmm. And he was just so terrified. And we were just like, doing our best because we're like, the poor kid came in from Arizona.
I know.
But after a while, we're like, well, there's like 300 other people here, so I got to keep going. Mm-hmm. I mean, back when that was the sort of shit that happened, it was weird. There would be like there was one con of this one girl who was really hot, was shamelessly hitting on me and Martin.
Really?
And neither one of us wanted to hook up with her because we're both like, I got stuff going on back home, got other things. Mm-hmm. But it was fun to flirt, right?
Right.
And then she kept amping up the game. And then when Martin and I realized she was doing it to both of us, we both kind of came at her at the same time, like, hey, what's going on? And she didn't know what to do. We're like, hey, what are you doing?
It's not the marks from the front, but from the side.
Yeah, we were like put our arms around each other, and then we were like, "Hey, want to come back hang out in the hotel later?" And she was like, "I'm out of here."
You know what an Eiffel Tower is? That sounds like such a blast. I wish I could have met you guys back then. My financial situation has not been great until recently, so I wasn't able to afford to travel from Wisconsin. Like it's not like it's a short drive or anything.
No, it was years ago now. Mm-hmm. That era, the Spill era is forever gone, I'm afraid.
Yeah. But, you're on and doing better things, and, that's what you gotta do.
Or new things, anyway.
Yeah. I'll say better.
Well, that's very kind.
I don't know, you can be polite as you want. I think it's better.
Believe me, if I could afford to hire animators, I would, and I know Corey would too. He talked about it at first, and then he looked at how much that would actually cost, and he's like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, he phased that out. He was talking about it again, and I was just like, I don't think you're ever gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. He hated doing it. I mean, he loves to animate. He hates being forced to animate and like, oh fuck, I gotta animate this week. And I think sometimes he forgets how much he hated it. And it's like, okay, you're never going to do that again. You know you're not, because you can't afford to pay somebody else to do it. So, and you're damn sure not going to do it yourself. I can't blame him. I used to help with the animation as well, and it sucked.
Yeah. I mean, I've only looked at how much. I'm not an artist in any way, and I've only looked at like videos of what it takes to animate, and I'm just like, nope. Yeah, that is way too much.
Even
work.
With Flash, it's just with the built characters and everything. Interestingly, I still have the archive of all those Flash animation pieces.
Oh, really?
So I have the complete setups for all the characters and all their body parts and head movements and everything. I don't know if I'll ever have any use for it, but it's kind of cool to have it.
Sure. No, like you never know down the line what could come up, but. I can already tell that I could just sit down and talk with you. Like we could just sit down all day and just shoot the shit.
Well, we're podcasters. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
We talk until the bell rings.
Indeed, but I think that we're gonna have the ring the bell on this one and bring it to a close. But thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Nick. Thank you so much for taking the time to do some of my shows with me this weekend. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you.
I am a deep blue sea slut. Anytime anyone wants to watch it, recording or not, I'm down.
You're in.
I'm in for that. Maybe this time they'll escape. Every time I think
so. Samuel Jackson's going to get eaten by that shark every single time, no matter how much you wish well, no one wishes otherwise.
No one wishes otherwise. No, I'm rooting for that. I just want the sharks to escape.
Yeah. The problem with that movie is once Samuel Jackson gets eaten, I'm kind of like, okay, well, that was the best part. Now I've lost interest.
All right. Well, now I feel like I got to end this interview by making a big speech and then having a shark coming and getting me. But
I don't know about a shark. One of the cats might jump on your head or something, but that's probably not as fatal.
Yeah, and then I think the only sign off could be just long live the. Is that a copyright strike? I see. No,
I don't think so.
The League.
Long live the League.
Yay! And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that interview with Chris Cox. It was really fun talking with that guy. Man, super nice guy. Really enjoyed hanging with him and a lot of the other One of Us crew.
I gotta remember, that's only another one piece of our content.
Ah!
I was waiting.
Man, that's, you're sitting on that one.
I was.
It's good though. We'll work that in.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like it. We'll have to workshop the name a little bit.
Well, the name's all it is.
And publishing is like, get ready for our, if you'd like to contribute to our content for this con episode. God, shut up! Yeah, with that, I think we can wrap this episode up. Join us next week for when we have our Let's Play coverage. And our stories from Appleton and their lovely new convention should be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm excited. I don't know about you.
It should be fun.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, if you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so through any of our social media pages, like Twitter at UGO Podcast. Give us a tweet, anything like that. You can like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. That's also at UGO Podcast. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. That would really help us out. Give us a review, a 5-star review. We'll get whatever gets in that review box on the air word for word. I will read it. That is my guarantee. Or you can always just email us at unapologeticgeekout@gmail.com. And with that, I think we can wrap up the episode here. Thank you so much for listening. We're on Unapologetic Geek Out, and
we're out.